Hi, this is John Allen, the editor of Crux. Welcome to another exclusive video feature here on the Crux YouTube page. In these video features, we try to bring you a cross-section of interesting and important voices in the Catholic world. And while we're on the subject of important, let me make this observation. Anybody who knows anything about the Catholic Church at all knows that we can say all the wonderful things we want about evangelization, about transforming the world from the inside out, about setting the world on fire with the flame of the gospel. And we can hold learned events on these subjects. Popes, Vatican offices, bishops' conferences can put out marvelous documents on those subjects. And that's all well and good. But if all that does not come alive at the level of the parish, then it really is not happening in the Catholic Church, because it is the parish where most Catholics have their primary contact with the Church. It is in the parish where most Catholics are formed in the faith or not. It is the parish where Catholics are transformed by the leadership of the Church or not. And so therefore, what happens at the parish level, what you might call the retail level of the Catholic Church, is extraordinarily, massively important, cannot possibly be understated. And so, by way of consequence, those who are working on improving and aiding parish life in the Catholic Church are doing some of the most important work in Catholicism you can possibly imagine. And we are joined by one such person today. Our guest is Sister Terry Ricard, who is the president and CEO of Renew International. It is a program designed to renew parish life, particularly through small groups. And it is this year celebrating its 40th anniversary. Sister Terry, so glad to have you with us today.
Thanks, John. It's great to be with you.
All right, so the 40-year mark is kind of a big deal, Sister Terry. I mean, it means you've been around a while, you've put down roots, and obviously you are doing something of value for the Church, because you wouldn't have stuck around this long and people wouldn't still be interested in what you're doing if you hadn't. So why don't let's take a little stroll down memory lane, Sister Terry. First of all, tell us where Renew came from. Give us a sense of what some of the important milestones and accomplishments have been over the years. And then also whip out your crystal ball and tell us what's next. What do you think the future holds?
Great. Well, as you spoke earlier, the heart of the Catholic Church is parish. So Renew really has come from two parish priests, Monsignor Tom Ivory, Monsignor Tom Kleiser, in the Archdiocese of Newark. They wanted to do something to renew the Church, particularly people and individuals and also parishes. And it was right after the Second Vatican Council. So there was a lot of fervor and energy about renewing the Church. So it was a bringing together the Catholic family movement and the catechumenal model, the RCIA. So these two priests brought that together and said, how do we bring people in a new way to be initiated in the Church if the people in the pews don't have that same sense of renewal, a personal encounter with Christ, connecting their faith with action? So from these two priests' vision, who were working in parishes, they brought together religious sisters, lay leaders, and said, let's get together and create something that can be done very practically in any parish. And the heart of that, using small groups, small Christian communities. So Renew was born. It was meant early on to be a program in the Archdiocese of Newark. 40,000 people participated in 9 languages. It just took off. And then from there, organically grew throughout the United States, into Canada, Africa, Latin America. So we have been in 23 countries, in 40 languages, and really all throughout the world. So a few years later, 1990, Renew separately incorporates, becomes Renew International, and is at the service of the whole Church, not only in the US, but throughout the world. So that's where we've been. began with one single process, gathering people in small groups in people's home, training parish leaders to get out there and make that process happen. From the beginning, we were about marketing. I went to a conference once, they said, marketing plus the gospel equals evangelization. Getting people to invite others, both people in the pew and people out there, our friends, our neighbors. We often say at Renew, it's easy to cross the threshold of one's home than to invite people first to church. So most of our small groups are actually 8 homes. So that's 40 years ago. Focused on creating lay leaders, conversion, transformation, and we see evidence of that. There are people from that original Renew groups who are still meeting, and I hear that as I travel around the world. But that's what's been happening in the past. But in the last 10 years, we had another kind of transformation and began with other processes and programs, Renew for the 21st Century, Why Catholic, Journey Through the Catechism. And now we have multiple programs. Arise Together in the Christ, which started in the Archdiocese of Boston around 2006, 30,000 people, 7 languages. And we continue to serve dioceses with that process, Arise Together in Christ. And now Be My Witness, which is a formation for the new evangelization. So we keep trying to be innovative, keep our ear to the ground. I like that image of a cupped ear. You know, what's happening today? And I think we've always had that entrepreneurial spirit here at Renew. And that's why we're still here 40 years later, serving the church today.
I don't know if you're hearing, or I don't know if anybody watching this is hearing, but there is some work going on next to the Crux headquarters here in Rome. I apologize if that is distracting. On the other hand, let me just say, if you know anything at all about how virtually impossible it is to get a contractor in Rome to actually show up and do what they said they're going to do, you can't be too annoyed that it's actually happening. Well, listen, I mean, that is an incredible story, and it's a story of how often real change in the church happens. It isn't necessarily planned from on a high, right? But it, it sort of bubbles up spontaneously in response to a local need, and then people look at that and they say, well, geez, we could use that too, and it sort of radiates out from there. So it's just a terrifically compelling story. Now, listen, talk to us a little bit about how Renew is celebrating this 40th anniversary. I know you've got a series of events going on, one of which that is particularly important is a symposium that you're staging. So tell us what you're doing. Great.
Well, we kicked off our 40th anniversary at the bishops' meeting, and we honored some bishops who have been champions for evangelization, who have partnered for us. So that was great. And we have a new cardinal in the Archdiocese of Newark, Cardinal Tobin. He kicked it off, which was fabulous. And he talked about how, as a young pastor in Detroit, that Renew came to his parish and not only transformed his parish, which was an inner city parish. At the time, we were the only ones doing materials in Spanish and actually training in Spanish. So he gave testimony to that, which was fabulous. And then we honored other bishops, Archbishop Sean O'Malley, a couple of bishops from Texas, and Bishop DiMarzio from Brooklyn, who we're currently working with. So that's how we kicked it off. And then our next big event is in April. And as you said, it's the highlight, I think, of our 40th anniversary, in symposium on parish renewal. So we are featuring Bill Simon from Parish Catalyst, which he's terrific. So we'll be hearing his research from great Catholic parishes. And then Matt Malone from America Magazine, who's one of our co-sponsors, will be our moderator of our panel. We're hearing from Father Bismarck from the Archdiocese of Newark, who launched our Be My Witness process and is in the process of transforming his parish. We have Lisa Angzingler, who's a terrific speaker and has used Strength Finders, and she'll be talking about this cohort of the millennials, how to reach out to them. I'll be on the panel talking about the power of small groups in terms of belonging and engagement. And then we'll have Chris Lowney talking to us about leadership. We've worked with him on a series for faith and work. And also, we're doing a lot with his concept of everyone leads, his new book. So that's our panel. So we're looking forward to that. We'll have dialogue, discussion. We'll be at Seton Hall University in West Orange, New Jersey. So hoping I have a lot of folks out there. We're going to live stream it so our international people and people afar can participate. So hopefully what we're looking for is good dialogue among our participants, and hopefully, thinking in new ways of how we can reach out to people today in this particular context, and honestly, particularly younger people. How can we reach the disengaged? How do we as a church, with the richness of our spirituality, reach out in ways that are out of the box, are innovative, and again, try to renew parish life. So that's the heart of it. It's on a Thursday afternoon. We're hoping to get a lot of pastors and pastoral associates, lay leaders out there, thought leaders. And then we'll have a trip to pilgrimage to Italy. Myself and Father Anthony, terrific pastor from Westfield, will be leading that. Really focusing in Rome, maybe we'll see you there, John, on the reformers. Catherine of Siena, I'm a Dominican sister, so we gotta go there. We'll give to Francis a nod, and we'll hear about Francis and Clare. We'll go to Assisi. And again, how were they at their time great reformers? And then, of course, we'll go to Rome and pray at John the 23rd, at his grave, and talk about how his reform of the church, and then probably the greatest reformers of all, Pope Francis, and the joy of the gospel, which we are focusing on as a organization. Our new process, Be My Witness, is based on the joy of the gospel, and that call to both personal and parish renewal. And with that parish renewal, we at Renew are trying to renew ourselves in a new way so that we're relevant today during this 40th and beyond. And then we'll conclude with the People's Mass. Father Tom Kleiser was our founder, a co-founder, started out in a parish in northern New Jersey, Our Lady of Mercy in Park Ridge. So we're going to finish there with a great celebration and a lot of food and music, and finish it off with honoring all the many really dedicated people who have worked at Renew over the last 40 years. We really focus on community here. So we see ourselves as a small community at Renew, and we have tremendously faith-filled people here, talented staff. So we'll be celebrating us and all the people in the last 40 years who've made a tremendous impact, not on Renew, but most importantly, for the life of the church. So I want to say too, something's unique about Renew is we've always been about reaching out to the multicultural church. 7 languages are Arise, our most recent, or one of our recent processes. Also, we have a very strong commitment to justice. So we're not just about praying in small groups, we're about taking that prayer into action, charitable works and just acts. So we're about hands-on and advocacy, and moving us as a church to be in the world and for the world. So not just about our own families or our parishes, but to keep pushing those boundaries.
All right, well, you are going to have to let me know when your group is in Rome, because assuming I'm here at that time, I'll take you out to one of my favorite Roman restaurants. You can consider that my contribution to the 40th anniversary celebration, okay?
Thank you.
All right, so you heard our folks. Big happenings this year. The 40th anniversary of Renew International, which is a parish-based program intended to re-stimulate, revive, transform, reanimate parish life using the instruments of small groups, but not restricted to that. If you want more information on Renew International, you can find it at www.renewintl, that's renewintl.org. Sister Terry Ricard, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thanks, Don. Keep up your good work.
All right, so this has been another video exclusive on the Cruxa YouTube page. Keep checking our YouTube page because we are going to have more of these conversations with Catholics who matter, and we hope you will keep dropping in and listening in on these exchanges, which really do kind of open up a vast panorama on the realities of Catholic life today. Until we see one another again, I am John Allen, and you have a fantastic day.